So, you're interested in playing Rivals of Aether II, but let's be honest, you don't know what you're looking at here. Where's Mario? Who are all these furries? Don't worry, I gotcha. I'm going to briefly touch on every character in the roster, their strengths, weaknesses, unique mechanics, and most importantly, how they compare to the Smash characters that you're already familiar with. Think of this as a quick start guide, and something that you can easily reference so you know exactly what you're dealing with when you see your 8th bushy-tailed weapon-wielding fighter on your screen. But before we dive into the roster here, you should know that this video is part of a set on 3 videos on the transition from the Smash Bros. Series to Rivals of Aether II. You definitely don't have to watch these in any set order, but I'll give you a heads up that this one is by far the most straightforward and beginner-friendly of the set, so you're in good hands. But if you're interested in hearing about how the stages and mechanics compare to Smash after this, please do give those other videos a watch. But anyway, it's time for the moment you've been waiting for. The character breakdown. The way I've always described Rivals character design to my friends who have never played Rivals is, it's like if every character in this roster is a DLC character. Every moveset has a great amount of depth, and they're all very strong and capable of pulling off crazy stuff. Most characters in this game are designed around a specific core mechanic or gimmick. These gimmicks interact with multiple moves in the character's moveset and add an extra layer of depth to these designs. For example, Zetterburn has a few moves that will ignite the opponent, which deals a little bit of damage over time, but also greatly increases the knockback of his strong attacks when they hit a burned opponent. Ranno's poison stacks deal damage when the opponent misses a move, but also dictate how long they'll be trapped inside his bubble. Etalus can use his ice to move fast, Olympia can use her gem for traps or for movement, and Fleet can enchant her arrows to mix up her combos. You get the gist. Everybody has something more. A very common mistake a lot of people make when looking at the Rivals roster is just assuming that every character is a one-to-one parallel to a Smash character. You know, this is Fox, this is Marth, this is Falco. But, well, not exactly. Very few characters in this game are actually one-to-one. Okay, except for Clairen, that one is pretty on the nose. Comparing Rivals characters to Smash characters is something that really tends to bother a lot of Rivals players, but look, I get it. It's really helpful to have something to compare any new experience to, so don't let people who might yell at you for saying Zetterburn is Fox get you down. The actually crowd can really push away a lot of people who are just trying to find some common ground to base their experiences on. So I'll run through the cast quick in terms of Smash characters to hopefully give you an idea of what they're all about. Zetterburn is your typical spacey, coming in as an amalgamation of Fox, Falco, and Wolf. But mostly Wolf. You'll notice a lot of similar moves in his kit to what you're familiar with. Neutral special is Shine, and the launch angle is based on your relative position to the target, so it's kind of an all-in-one tool. He's got a solid projectile reminiscent of Laser, and the exact recovery that you might expect. He thrives up close where he can burn his opponents, and he can consume these burn charges for huge knockback on his strong attacks if he can hit you in time. Any Smash player is going to feel right at home with this character. Clairen is this game's signature sword fighter, but mostly she's Marth on steroids. She has the same tipper mechanic as Marth, but with way greater rewards. Imagine if Marth's tippers gave Zero Suit's Paralyze effect, and you've got Clairen. She has a counter for her down B, like most sword characters, but hers actually sets up an anti-projectile field, called the No Fun Zone. In here, projectiles can't be thrown, just like Gardevoir's bubble. This is to compensate for her being the only character in the game without a projectile of her own. This makes her flashy, rewarding, and pretty easy to understand. If you like sword characters of any kind, you'll be comfortable in Clairen, no questions. Ranno is your ninja archetype. Think Sheik, Greninja, or Joker, but mostly melee Sheik. If you know the difference between these two Sheiks, you get it. He's really strong and thrives up close. His darts are essentially Sheik needles, but that's kind of where the similarities end. He can poison enemies to make them take damage when they miss their moves, or he can trade those poison stacks in to trap the enemy in bubble jail for longer. He's fast, flashy, and straightforward, and if you don't play him, you'll learn to hate him. Olympia may seem like Ryu at first, but that's not exactly the case. She's actually way closer to something like Captain Falcon meets ladder combo Mario meets small Mii Brawler from Smash 4. She's extremely a rushdown character, with fast movement and oppressive combos and a core weakness in her recovery. Her signature ability is her gem field, which she can detonate as a trap to freeze opponents, or she can use it to quickly beeline to the center for crazy movement and continuing combos. It's a safe bet you're gonna like her, no matter who you are. Kragg is a super heavy, but unlike in Smash, that's not an immediate death sentence on the tier list. In fact, he's quite good. His closest Smash parallel is Donkey Kong, with maybe a bit of Bowser thrown in there, although most of his moves are pretty unique. He thrives off of stage control, which he can easily achieve with his rock projectile. He has a cargo throw on his special pummel, where he can turn you into the rock instead. His recovery is super unique, creating a pillar underneath him no matter where you're at. He's a very straightforward character to both play and fight, making him the perfect character if you want to try something new out at the start. Loxodont is the answer to what if you fused King Dedede and Ganondorf. His axe is great for huge range hits, and his neutral B summons boulders which can be hit back and forth just like Gordo. Side B is Ganon, up B is Pyra. He's the ultimate super heavy fusion. His main gimmick is leaving pools of magma on the stage where he can stand in it to gain charges which buff the range of his strongs and his down B. This is the perfect character for going for crazy clips, and he's so much fun to play. Absa is directly inspired by Zelda, with a little bit of Mewtwo and Pikachu thrown in there for good measure. She's extremely lightweight and is the perfect character if you like long-range zoners. She's a floaty double jump for DJC shenanigans, and powerful aerials which work exactly how you'd expect. Her core mechanic is her Cloud, which she can pop, turn into a bomb, or even do this whenever she wants. And now we enter the characters with some less direct inspirations from Smash. Wrastor is commonly mistaken for being this game's Falco or Captain Falcon allegory, but that's not entirely right. He has some similar moves, sure, but his game plan is much closer to Jigglypuff overall. He thrives on light hits and aerial combo strings, being the only character in the game to have his strong attacks only be usable in the air rather than on the ground. With multiple jumps and an easy way to buff his own movement speed with side B, he loves to go deep for kills. But wait, if he's Jigglypuff, where's Rest? On his up B. Think of it like Luigi's sweet spot and you'll be set for some easy early stocks. Etalus is a super heavy who can do, well, just about everything a super heavy in Smash would never be allowed to do. He's most reminiscent of Bowser, but there's only really a few shared moves there. His main gimmick is his ice, which he can lay on the floor with a bunch of moves to allow for some crazy fast movement. He can break his ice to give himself armor, making himself much heavier, or he can detonate it to freeze enemies standing on it completely in place. Or he can freeze your shield, making it not regenerate. Imagine if Bowser had Luigi wave dash momentum and an aerial that could grab you and throw you directly into the blast zone, and you'll start to understand this nightmare. Good luck. Bleed isn't like any existing Smash character, but she's straightforward enough that she could feasibly be one. She's an archer who thrives at the mid-range. She has a float like Peach and strong attacks which shoot arrows in a bunch of different directions. Her main gimmick is her ability to enchant her arrows, which will leave a little time bomb on the enemy when hit. This time bomb can be passed back and forth like Mega Man's Crash Bomber until it pops. She can hold up to 6 enchant charges at once, and she can refill them by eating food dropped from her pummel or her get-up attacks. She's straightforward and really fun. Forsburn is this game's perverted take on the ice climbers, and I only say that because there's 2 of them. His whole thing is deception, being able to lay smoke on the stage which he can disappear behind. He can up B into his smoke to avoid freefall, or he can consume it to power up his specials. His side B will spawn his clone, which can't do much unless Forsburn has already consumed 3 smoke clouds. Then it can attack you. Just keep an eye out for his powered up down B, which might take you to an explosive end. Maypul is a small and fast little character who thrives on rushing down enemies and laying traps. She's not really based on any single Smash character. Her big deal is her band of forest pals. Lily can be placed with down B and sits in place, fighting any enemies who come close. Poppy is applied with special pummel and pulls in enemies who are hit by her neutral B seed. And Terry is set with ledge special, which allows Maypul to nope out of any situation and fly to this ledge at will. She can also tether directly to players who have been hit with her other specials and have this status effect. Or she can consume this effect with her strongs to hold you in place for a second. She's certainly got a lot of tricks. Orcane is our last pick, and he's everyone's favorite little guy. Orcane is weird, and he's nothing like any other Smash character. His main gimmick is his puddle, which he can use in a bunch of different ways. He can break it with his down B to create some light hitting bubbles, or he can teleport to it with up B for recovery. Or he can use it to double the size of any strong attacks done while he's standing on it. He's a slippery little fellow with a lot of weird movement abilities, and it's important to always have a puddle down if you're playing him, or to always be guarding the puddle if you're not. He's funny. More characters are being added to Rivals 2 all the time, like every 3 months, so this video is going to be outdated fast. We already have Galvin announced and coming in a free update in October. Based on his reveal trailer, he seems to be a twisted amalgamation of PM Bowser and Kragg from, well, this game. Talk about meta inspiration. His main draw is his drill mechanic, which he can leave around the stage to basically build geometry dash levels to put you through, and his magnetism, which passively brings enemies back into his combos. He looks insane. We also know Lorena from Rivals 1's workshop is coming next year, a true grappler in playstyle that draws elements from Incineroar from Ultimate, Potemkin from Guilty Gear, and Beowulf from Skullgirls. We also know there's an item-based character coming next year, but I'm getting way ahead of myself. If you're watching in the future and I didn't cover a character here, please do check my channel to see if I've done another character breakdown for anyone new. But I do think at this point in time the game should have something for every playstyle, so I encourage you to give them all a shot. And once again, if you enjoyed this video or you want to learn more about transitioning over to Rivals 2 as a Smash player, I'd like to point you in the direction of both of my other mechanical guides for this series, for the stages and for the in-game mechanics. These are designed through the lens of transitioning over as a Smash player, so if you're ready to take that next step, I hope you give these, as well as the game itself, a shot. And I'll see you there. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this, why not check out these other videos I made on screen now? If you found this informative or helpful at all, please let me know below so I know to make more like it. This whole series took me a good bit of time, and any feedback is always wholly appreciated. Scope creep is really taking over my life. Anyway, that's all for me, so I will see you in the next one. Thanks.